11th. Learn more at umgc.edu.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
His name? Grant Napear.
Sacramento's most iconic announcer is back.
3 o'clock, Monday through Friday, 3-hour show.
The Grant Napear Show is back.
The Grant Napear Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown.
And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show. So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Football, and more football with the Natty tonight, Indiana and Miami. But we start with the National Football League. And we back up to Saturday and what happened in both those games. Pretty amazing. The 49ers, what are you going to say? They got manhandled by the Seattle Seahawks. They just ran out of bodies. They ran out of steam. And oh yeah, by the way, Seattle's really, really good. Short week. You know, you can only sustain excellence for so long when you lose key players. And the start of that game, it was like the start of the game in Santa Clara 3 weeks ago, where on the first play of the game, it's 7-0, and you're like, whoa. You know, that's really hard to come back from. It's much harder to come back from when you're on the road and you give up 7 points to start the game. I look back at this season for San Francisco, and to me, I think they overachieved based on all of their injuries, based on health. It just snowballed on them. It just kept going and going and going. It reminded me of the Detroit Lions last year, where at some point, it is going to catch up to you. It caught up to the Lions last year when they had the number 1 seed and they lost at home to Washington. And then Washington went on and lost in the championship game at Philadelphia. But at some point, when you lose some of the best players and arguably the best players at their respective positions, it has to have an effect on you. I think the Niners went as far as they could. Did I expect them to get blown out in Seattle? No, I didn't expect them to get blown out. But I thought Seattle would win the game. That's why we picked them on Friday, even though the point spread was a touchdown or more. I just thought their luck was about to run out. So we can talk about that at 916-779-0929. You can text the show. You can call the show. I mean, what about you? How do you evaluate the San Francisco 49ers season? I think they overachieved based on their injuries. I don't see how you could go any other direction. For them to be playing for the number 1 seed in week 18 of the regular season, to me, was unbelievable. I just didn't think that was going to be the case. So we'll talk about the NFC Championship game. You know, there's a lot of talk going on today about the teams that lost in the AFC. And so I'm going to start with Buffalo. When you don't have Josh Allen able to beat a Denver team that was very beatable, and you have a postseason without Patrick Mahomes, without Lamar Jackson, without Joe Burrow to contend with, even though you didn't win the division, this is your really good opportunity to make it back to the championship game and maybe go a step further. Allen's play against Denver is inexcusable for a quarterback of his caliber. If you just want to talk about one play, and you can pick on many other plays, but if you want to just talk about one play, the play before the half is one of the worst plays, one of the worst decisions I have ever seen by a veteran quarterback in the NFL. It is clearly as bad as any decision I have seen a veteran quarterback make. The carelessness of Allen fumbling the football and having Denver recover it with 2 seconds left to kick a field goal going into the locker room to make it a 10-point game instead of a 7-point game is as bad as it gets. There is no excuse. And so we're going to listen to Josh Allen in a second if you missed it. But I understand Josh Allen's heartbreak. And I understand how he feels that the game really comes down to him. Here's the veteran quarterback afterwards.
It's extremely difficult. I feel like I let my teammates down tonight.
Your emotions normally aren't this emotional for us. Is what has brought this on? It's
just missed opportunities throughout the game. It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and it's going to stick with me for a long time.
He did let down his team. Plain and simple. He clearly let down his team. And I don't want to hear the talk about, well, without Josh Allen, they wouldn't have been there. You could say that about every team in the NFL. Almost. He did let his team down. I'm not giving him a pass anymore. I'm just not. You got to be better than that. I mean, and by the way, I'm so tired of hearing about what a great defense Denver has. They have a good defense. They don't have a great defense. I've seen teams move the ball against Denver all season long. Okay? I've seen teams move the ball against Denver. I even saw the New York Giants, my team that I root for, move the ball up and down the field at will on Denver and other teams. So I don't want to hear about Denver's great defense. Buffalo was able to go up and down the field on them and self-destructed and really have no one to blame but themselves for now not being in the postseason and now having their coach be unemployed and Sean McDermott, who was fired today. I mean, the Bills, to me, you really do have to wonder if it's ever going to happen for them. I was actually pulling for the Bulls this year, or the Bills this year, and I'm not a fan of the Bills, but that long-suffering fan base, I was really hoping that maybe they would get their day in the sun. Josh Allen should feel like he let his team down because he did let his team down. You can't play like that in a game of that magnitude. Can't do it. Just like C.J. Stroud. And you have to wonder, after watching C.J. Stroud in New England, if the Houston Texans can move forward with him as the quarterback. They have a championship caliber defense. The decision-making by Stroud in the Pittsburgh game left you bewildered, and it got worse yesterday against the Patriots. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Can't have it. And I got to believe that the players on that Houston team privately are thinking, we need a new quarterback. Please go get us a new quarterback. When you look at the AFC losers, I'm not so sure that the two best teams in the AFC didn't both lose over the weekend. Because to me, if I'm watching that game, Buffalo to me looked like the better team than Denver. And you got to feel awful for Bo Nix. I mean, that is just, if you're a Broncos fan, that is just awful. And you have to wonder what the emotions are for Nix. And to be playing now for the championship game and you're 60 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl and you're not going to be part of it. And Nix had a heck of a year. And that guy makes plays when you need to make plays. And his fourth quarter drives this year have been a thing of beauty. Bo Nix has been incredible this year in crunch time. His fourth quarter play this year has been stellar. And now you lose him on the last play of the game. That's devastating. That is brutal. But after watching that game, I did not come away from that game on Saturday saying to myself, oh, Denver's better than Buffalo. I didn't think so at all. Buffalo was the better team. Buffalo self-destructed. Buffalo beat themselves in that game. Plain and simple. And then Houston, I mean, I don't even know how you explain the horrible performance by Stroud. I'm going to talk to Sean Salisbury about this tomorrow because he said the same thing on social media. I don't see how you can go forward with him. I really don't. Then you get to the NFC, and I already touched on the Niners and the Seahawks. What are you going to say about the Bears and the Rams? The weather, games coming down to one play. I've been watching football since the early 60s. So I've seen a lot of bad quarterback play, and I have seen great quarterback play. I'm going to put the 4th and 4 play that Caleb Williams made against the Rams as maybe as good of a play, as good of a throw that I've ever seen a quarterback make, period. Caleb Williams on the 4th and 4 was amazing, as was the call by Kevin Harlan.
4th and 4 at the Ram 14, and in the gun is the quarterback, Caleb Williams. Looks into the nickel, arms outstretched, 4th down and 4, 14 of the Rams. Shotgun snap, goes back 4-man rush. He's chased, he's flushed, he's all the way back to the 40. He's backpedaling and throws a pass into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Chicago has caught a touchdown pass with Cole Kmet open in the corner. If you hadn't seen it, you would not believe it.
I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback make a better throw than that. And I say that being a Giants fan, the pass that Eli Manning made in the second win against the Patriots at Indianapolis to Mario Manningham is as good as any throw I've ever seen a quarterback make until yesterday, until last night. Caleb Williams backpedaling and running straight back 20 yards and throwing that ball on a perfect strike into the corner of the end zone. I don't know. You could watch football for 100 years, and I don't know if you'll ever see a better play by a quarterback in a situation where the game is literally in the balance. Period. Amazing. Amazing. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, the Bears should have gone for 2. Hindsight's 2020. I don't think at that point you can go for 2, not make it, and if you're Ben Johnson, get out of the stadium alive. I just don't know how you can go from that type of euphoric moment with one of the greatest, maybe the best, greatest pass, greatest play, and I mean this, in the history of the Chicago Bears organization. And I mean that. I'm well aware of their history. Jim McMahon never made a pass like that. I watched every play of every game that season. They won a Super Bowl. He never made a play like that. I believe that is the best. Okay? The best. And if you were going to go for 2 and not make it, oh boy. Wow. Yeah, good luck on that. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. We got the Natty tonight with Indiana and Miami. What about this game tonight? Is Indiana going to cap off one of the great seasons in the history of college football? And where they were just a few short years ago to where they are now? And rolling in their 2 previous playoff games this year after beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship? What about that game tonight? Your thoughts? 916-779-0929. Just incredible sports this weekend. And then, of course, we get to the NBA. We'll touch on the Kings' loss last night to Portland in a little bit, but I want to go football here primarily in the first segment or two because, well, that's what we were doing all weekend, right? We were watching football. From the 916, Grant, I had the Niners beating the Rams if they won. Seattle is winning the Super Bowl, unstoppable. I'll admit it, Grant, I picked the Niners to win, but I was wrong. However, no one expected them to be in the playoffs with those injuries, so I'm pretty happy with how the season went. But I have to give credit to the Seahawks. They're a great team, and I can see them winning it all. My picks for the Super Bowl, Seahawks and Patriots. 916, Grant, I remember before the NFL season started, I told you how I believe C.J. Stroud would have a big year, and we agreed, but it's disappointing he hasn't made a leap. You know, he came back from the concussion 3-week absence, and he actually was playing better as the season went on, but he self-destructed in the playoffs. If they even had average quarterback play, they would have won that game against New England. And they'd be playing. But they're not. Comes down to that. You can't have it. All right. 916-779-0929. More on this. The Natty tonight. Your phone calls, your text messages right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubrud's.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. Gubrud's. Gabrud's.com.
We've got great news for vehicle owners, regardless of what you drive, here at Downtown Ford Sacramento. For a limited time, bring your car or truck to Downtown Ford. We'll beat any major tire store's prices on a set of world-class Michelin or BF Goodrich tires. Then, we'll kick you down an $80 mail-in rebate. And that goes for any car or truck you drive. You'll get the best deal anywhere on Michelin or BF Goodrich tires installed by our top-notch service team, plus an $80 rebate. That's how we operate here at Downtown Ford. We've been selling Fords for over 100 years, and we've learned some things. Rule number 1 is to put the customer first. Treat customers right, and they come back. That's our formula, and it's why we were chosen as a Car Guru's top dealership for 2025. We are Downtown Ford Sacramento. Come see us on Howe Avenue. Online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Do you need new tires? Have you been putting it off? Don't wait any longer. Get the best in tires today and save. Get to Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. For the best selection of Bridgestone and Firestone tires, all on sale and on-site ready for your car or truck, get to Expert Tires and Brakes to save big on sets of Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. Expert Tires and Brakes, the best place for tires and brakes.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. And sometimes that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Trouble sleeping, your mind racing. So what do? We get help. There are people in our community who are here for us. Sometimes just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
916-779-0929. How are you today? Everything good? Getting ready for little college football tonight? Indiana? Miami? Who do you like? Who do you have? Who do you like in this game down in South Florida? You know, the last time the championship was in that stadium, I was there in person to watch Alabama beat Ohio State. Boy, there were a lot of tremendous NFL players on the field in that game. Big time. Big time. On the YouTube Fox Sports Sacramento channel, that moment was too big for C.J. Stroud yesterday and the week before. Yes, it was. No question. Grant, want to talk about the great 49er season, but even with a healthy roster, they lose to Seattle by 10-plus points. I don't know about that. With a healthy roster, if you had Bosa on the field, with Fred Warner on the field, Kittle on the field, I'm not so sure I would agree with that. I'm not so sure I would go with that. Maybe they lose. Maybe they do. I'm not diminishing Seattle being a really good team, but I'm not so sure I would agree with that. I'm not taking anything away from Seattle. They're really good. They had a really great game. Listen, I think you have to understand the advantage they had going into that game, and I talked about it all week. You got San Francisco playing on the East Coast, and they're playing on a Sunday, and then the playoff game in Seattle is scheduled on a Saturday. That's a big deal. Plus, you add on to that their injuries. That's just that's part of having home field advantage. You know, that's just the way it is. That is just part of it. That's why being the number one seed, getting a week off, you know, you're playing either Saturday or Sunday, but you're in the driver's seat. Plus, the other team you're playing is going to have more injuries. So I don't know what else to say other than congratulations to Seattle. That's what happens when you have the number one seed. Okay? That's what happens when you have the number one seed. You get the advantages like that. All right? All right, NBA. There was some very interesting news today. And it has to do with one individual who is not going to be starting in next month's All-Star game, and it's LeBron James. Luka, Jokic, SGA, Wembanyama, Curry. No surprise there, right? LeBron James, he was a starter for a record 21 All-Star games. Beginning in 2005, the game that was played in Denver. He wasn't even close. You know, it's the first time I can compliment the fans for doing the right thing, because he doesn't deserve to be starting in the All-Star game. How about Victor Wembanyama making his first All-Star start? Is he a legitimate this year? And I'm just going based on stats and everything else. Should have he made the starting lineup in the All-Star game? Now, remember how the voting goes, okay? Fan voting makes up 50%. A panel of media voters makes up 25%. Player voting, 25%. Now, the reserves will be announced on Sunday, and those reserves are selected by the NBA's coaches. And remember, the format's different this year. It's a Team USA versus the world format, copying what the National Hockey League did last season. But it won't be anything like that, but at least it will be more interesting. What do you think about James? And do you think it's as much to do with his play on the floor? Or do you think he has lost stature among the fans for his, and I'm just going to call it the way it is, egregious social media post over the years? I'm just wondering what side of the fence you're on there. Okay? But again, I don't have a problem with it. And when you look at the voting, again, Jokic, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Steph Curry, Victor Wembanyama. What do you think? And it's interesting when you look at LeBron. Out of the top 10, he was ranked 8th from the players, 8th by the fans, 9th by the media. How about that? All right. I don't have a problem with that. The number one player among fans, Luka. Number 2, Jokic. Curry 3, SGA 4. And this is surprising, Rhino. I want to bring you here in. All right. Avdia from Portland received the 5th most fan votes and ended up in the All-Star voting, okay, as number 7. Interesting to me.
Very well deserved, by the way.
Yes, he's really good.
He always, you wondered if he was going to take that next step, and this season, he really has. He has been tremendous for Portland, so I think it's very well deserved.
And do you know that Cade Cunningham received the most votes from the players from the Detroit Pistons? How about that?
Grant, you've seen him. He's a big guy. He can do a little bit of everything. He's not a selfish leader of a team, and he's on a rocket that's on a one-way direction going up right now.
I talked about Wembanyama. 7th in the player voting, 6th in the fans, and 4th media. Do you think Victor Wembanyama should be starting in the All-Star game?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think you could make the argument, Grant, that LeBron deserves to start this year.
I'm not saying he does. I don't think he does deserve to start. I'm not even sure he deserves to be on the All-Star team, but he will be, and I get why. Yeah. And I think, I'm not going to have any problem with it, but you could make the argument he shouldn't even be on the team.
You absolutely can. He missed all the time at the beginning of the season, and I don't want to say he's blended in. He's had some good games here and there, but it's the first time this year I remember LeBron looking like maybe he's lost a step, and that usually comes on the defensive end.
Okay, I can't complain about Steph Curry being voted a starter. I have no issue with that. I don't have any issue with Anthony Edwards. He's averaging almost 30 points a game.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have an issue with those players being on. Listen, I think for the most part, they got it right this year. I think for the most part, they got it right. I'm trying to nitpick here. I'm having a really difficult time. Okay. I mean, what I mean by that is Anthony Edwards, you could have voted on there is what I'm saying, ahead of Steph Curry is what I'm trying to mean. He's not starting, but I mean, I could have at least seen that. Okay. I could have said, you could have made an argument for that. But again, I can't argue. I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. I can't argue, Rhino, with Curry being an all-star starter. No. I just can't. Now, again, if you want to make a case that Anthony Edwards with his numbers and everything else should have been there, I would have said, okay, all right. But I mean, I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with Curry and Luka being on with SGA. Those 3 ahead of Edwards, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And you know what's interesting to me is looking at the fan rankings. SGA coming off of an MVP season, MVP of the finals, MVP champion, and he's 4th. Does that speak to his style of basketball? It's just not appealing.
He's just not. He's not a me guy where he's like, how do I want to, social media and the NBA, and he kind of takes a back seat to all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I'm not that surprised. I'm not. Said this Knicks fan is not going to argue about Cade. I believe that's Patrick in New York. All right. So yeah, no problem there. 916-779-0929. Again, your thoughts on the NFL over the weekend, your thoughts on the NBA All-Star voting. The Kings last night were in action. They lost to Portland. They really had a bad second quarter. They were very careless with the basketball. They had the opposition go to the foul line too much. Portland made 29 of 33 from the line. That, to me, was the difference in the game. And so they've had a really good homestand. They lost. Let's see what they do against Miami and Toronto, Rhino.
Yeah, absolutely. Some fans happy it came to an end. I think the troublesome thing, Grant, was the turnovers between this game and even though they won last game, they were really, really high. So you need to see that come down if you want to see a good basketball product.
Said the fact that Bronny James got the All-Star votes still tells me that the fan voting is a joke. Even Drew Eubanks got some votes, you were telling me.
Yes, Drew Eubanks got about 1,000 votes, I want to say, off
Was
the top of my
from
head.
family members or what? Just to so they, I mean, what
I
do you
don't
think?
know, Grant. 1,000 family members?
Well, you know, you can vote more than once. You're aware of that, correct?
Yes, this is true. Yes. You remember what they used to do back in the day? I'm sure you do. They would go to schools, and whichever school voted the most for the Kings starters or their players, they would end up getting a rally with the Kings players because we had them come to our high school one year.
Said Avdia is a good example why you don't give up on young players too easily. Wizards coughed up an all-star. Very true. You don't give up on players too early. And not to compare him to Devin Carter, because I think that's absurd. But I just don't understand, once again, how the Kings' decision-making process when they're building this team for the future does not include at least looking at Devin Carter. It just makes zero sense to me.
Well,
and I'm going to keep saying that until I see something change.
Well, again, we have to see what's going to happen at the break. I don't think there's going to be a huge market for a Russell Westbrook trade, especially with the contract that he is on. So will the Kings taper down some of those minutes and move towards the youth, what the development is supposed to be in this year, at least have an idea of what you have coming out of it?
All right, so we've got a lot on the table to discuss at 916-779-0929. Don't forget Sean Salisbury tomorrow. We'll go over the national championship game tonight and pick his brain on many of the things that we have discussed as it related to the NFL weekend. Sean McDermott is, I thought you put out a phenomenal tweet after the timeout was called, okay, to like prolong the game by 60 seconds. And you put something like that timeout was for him to prolong his coaching career in Buffalo by 60 seconds.
Just an extra 60 seconds to be the Bills coach.
Yeah. So you're not surprised that they fired him?
No, you look at the circumstances, Grant, and I know Josh Allen did not play well, but I thought you laid out beautifully that Buffalo did appear to be the better team, and they cough it up 5 times. You're moving into a new building. You can't get it done in this playoff cycle with those quarterbacks that you laid out of the way. It's time to go a different way, especially when you see organizations like the Ravens moving off of Harbaugh and the Steelers moving off of Tomlin.
Yeah, John Harbaugh, the coach, obviously, of the New York Giants now. The Dolphins are hiring defensive coordinator from the Packers, Jeff Hafley. He'll be their next head coach. He had a second interview today, and it looks like he will be the man who takes over down in South Florida for the Miami Dolphins. So, any thoughts on the NFL coaching moves? Obviously, John Harbaugh, the biggest of the splashes so far. It'll be very interesting to see what happens to McDermott. 9 seasons, no Super Bowl appearances, with a team that you could have said was clearly Super Bowl caliber, but they didn't get there. And so Sean McDermott pays the price, and he is out as head coach of the Buffalo Bills. A true new era in Buffalo they'll have a new coach and a brand new stadium. Hey, I want to talk to you about DAS Mechanical. Most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. Bottom line, it's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If you have a current heating and air system that's 15 years or older, you know what? It may be time. It may be time to consider a change. You get in touch with DAS Mechanical. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. That's what they do. Nick and his team, they're experts. They specialize in this. They also have 0% financing, 24/7 availability as well if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, family owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Just go to dasmechanical.org, D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org, and you will be able to schedule everything online. You can check out their 5-star reviews and their numerous best of the best awards. That's dasmechanical.org. More of your messages. You can give me a call. We get you ready for the national championship game with Indiana and Miami. Lots to talk about on this Monday edition of the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages, and they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
916-779-0929. You know, the one thing that bothered me more than anything this weekend, and I mean this, it drives me crazy, is the NFL's absurd, ridiculous, woke, bullcrap messaging that they keep jamming down our throats when we don't want it. And that is the choose love on back of all of the helmets this weekend in the NFL. Would you stop it? Roger Goodell, stop. Please stop. Okay, you have a great product. You have tremendous competition. Stop. Please stop with the absurd messaging on the field and on the helmets. You know, as we celebrate MLK Day, can you imagine if MLK could take a peek at what's going on in our society today in 2026 and how many things that he strived for before he was assassinated in the 60s? And wouldn't you just love to get his reaction to the problems that we still have in 2026, where in many ways we have taken steps forward, but in many other ways we've continued to take many steps back? In my opinion, we've taken more steps back than have taken steps forward. And the NFL, to me, is a huge culprit in this. It is just absurd. Okay? It is absurd. Stop it. Seriously, stop it with this nonsense. It's just ridiculous. And racism. It takes all of us. Choose love. What a bunch of nonsense. Seriously. You know what? It's insulting. It's insulting. It really is. It is insulting. At least to me. If you feel different, or if you feel differently, give me a call or text me. But it's just absurd. 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. Did Ben Johnson choose love last week with his, I guess, obligatory handshake with Matt LaFleur and then his comments about the Packers to his team that was shown on video everywhere? Was that choose love? Would you put choose love under that caption if you're Roger Goodell of the NFL? Would that be your choose love message? Just curious. Would you put choose love to begin the NFL season on a Thursday night with Philadelphia and Dallas kicking off to celebrate the start of the season? And Jalen Carter of the Eagles spitting in the face of Dak Prescott? Would you put choose love under that caption? Or would you put disgusting? Which direction would you go in? I'm just curious. It's unbelievable. Would you put choose love under some of the egregious, awful arrests that NFL players step over the side of law with their driving habits? Would you put Choose Love under Rashee Rice's name? Just curious. I mean, it's a joke. I disagree with this from the 916. It's so benign. Positive messages aren't woke. Yeah, it is woke. It is the definition of woke. Odd to me this bothers you so much. It bothers me because it's wrong. It bothers me because the National Football League, more so than the NBA, MLB, or the NHL, they have allowed themselves to continue with this political correct messaging nonsense that the other leagues have pretty much now taken a step back, led by Gary Bettman of the NHL, and I applaud him. Okay? Adam Silver himself came out and acknowledged, okay, after the bubble in Miami, or excuse me, after the bubble in Orlando, came out and acknowledged that the league had gone overboard with their Black Lives Matter messaging. He acknowledged it. Okay? And the NBA's gotten much better from that point forward. Not the NFL. Not the NFL. They continue to jam it down our throats. Choose love on the back of football helmets? Seriously? I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It really is. This from the 209. Why do we celebrate MLK Day? Because we haven't learned anything. So there's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more to learn. You know, I'm not going to get into a political discussion here on a holiday on MLK Day, but it would be very interesting to have him be able to comment on where we're at today in 2026. One of his famous quotes that I use all the time and have used it for many, 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 many years. And I try to live my life by this standard. Our lives begin to end the day we remain silent about things that matter. I have always tried to live by that motto and not remain silent about things that matter. Too many people have their head stuck in the sand. They're too afraid to speak. They're too afraid to not turn their head about things that matter. It's just the way it is. Very unfortunate. 916-779-0929. Miami, Indiana coming up in about 45 minutes. A lot of NBA action today. The Kings off until they take on the Miami Heat. And then a back-to-back against Toronto. Toronto, by the way, is playing the night before as well in Golden State. So both teams will be on a back-to-back. All right. Let's get to some phone calls here. We say hello to Lewis in Sacramento. What's up, Lewis?
Oh, man, Grant, man, gosh darn it. I don't understand exactly what's going on today on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I just listening to the show. Wow, I'm just, I don't know exactly what to really say.
Well, did something I say bother you? Is something that happened today bother you? Can you try to be a little bit more like, I'm not really sure what direction you're going, so help me out here.
Yeah, so, wow, that's how flabbergasted I really am.
Yeah, but you're not telling us what you're flabbergasted about, so I'm trying to.
So here we go. So here we go. No. Okay, got it. All right, let me regain my focus here. Got it. Okay, so we're talking about the NFL, and you're talking about how disappointed you are that they've got the message on their helmets that says "Choose Love."
Yes, I am. I think it's inappropriate, just like the messaging on the field, and racism is inappropriate, and it takes all of us as inappropriate. I believe it does not belong on the NFL field. That's correct. I'm
Whose
insulted
love
when
is
I
too
see
much
end
for you?
racism. I'm insulted. I'm insulted when I see end racism on the NFL field.
Why?
Why?
Why would you be
Because it
insulted when
insinuates
you see end
it
racism?
insinuates
What?
that the people watching the games are
That there
racist.
is racism.
There's
That it
racism and there will
insinuates
always
that
be
there is
racism. Okay, but putting end racism on the, why don't you put end anti-Semitism on the field? That to me in America today is a much bigger problem than racism. Why don't you put that on the field? Huh?
To you,
No,
it's a much bigger problem.
I think if you're going to be objective about
Do
this,
you know what's
wait a minute,
on
in
the streets today?
in 2026, okay, in my opinion, not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago, not 40 years ago. In my opinion, the acts of anti-Semitism that are going on in this country, and I'm not Jewish, is a bigger problem than racism. Let me ask you a question. What do you think would have happened if they had protests at Harvard and Columbia and so many other of our fine universities in America that were rooted and centered around black people and discriminating against black people the way they have against the Jews? What do you think the outrage in this country would have been like? Do you think that would have been accepted?
I know that actually happened. That's something that actually did happen. When you're talking, so you've crossed the Rubicon now, because you're talking about perhaps why those people would be protesting. You've labeled it as anti-Semitism, but the reality is they're saying, "Hey, stop killing the Palestinians," right? But that's too much for me to say, right? It's a different thing than saying we don't like Jewish people. That's different.
Well, when you have attacks on Jewish people in the United States of America, and by the way, just for a point of reference, I have a very, very close friend who was a sophomore at Harvard who was Jewish, and during that point in time was afraid for his safety on campus and was talking about the uncomfortable situations that he had experienced, including verbal attacks because they knew he was Jewish, so much so that he ended up transferring out of Harvard because they didn't feel it was safe for him and wasn't an environment that he wanted to be at. So, I mean, it depends on what shoes you're wearing when you look at this.
Parks, the books about Rosa Parks have been banned in Florida. How am I supposed to feel about that as an African American or as a Black American? People don't even understand. Blacks and whites in this country, we're actually the true. We have the most in common. It's crazy. Other groups, they have different languages, this, that.
I agree with you 100% on that.
How am I supposed to feel, though? How am I supposed to feel when Rosa Parks is banned, and when now all of a sudden Martin Luther King Day that used to be free for the national parks, now it's not. It'll be a different day, and it'll be for a different person. How am I supposed to feel?
Well, you just made a comment that I agree with 100%, is the commonality, if I can use that word, between whites and blacks. Because I got to tell you, when I moved to South Florida and I met, and I was very open about this on my podcast, and not to, abruptly get into this because we're running out of time here, but this is an important phone call. Most of my friends in South Florida were of color. Some were black, some were African American, and the reason why I make that this thing, I put it that way, is I asked them point blank, and I have some black friends that aren't African American and want to be referred to as black, and I have other friends that do want to be referred to as African American because of their heritage. So I learned a lot just living down there. And then others, people of color from the islands, the Caribbean, that they go, no, I'm not black, I'm not African American. So like, I'm so tired of labeling people. People to me are people. I've always in my life strived not to label people. I don't really give a damn what your sexuality or orientation is, your religion, your race. Go ahead.
If I could say one last thing. Look, my dad, he was career Army, right? He retired at the highest rank that he could, and this, that. I got you remember. But then when we were overseas in Germany, and
They saw us as American, not black American, nothing. American.
Lewis, I'm going to put you on hold. If you want to continue this on the backside, I would love to. If not, I understand. All right, I'm going to put you on. I'm going to put you on hold.
I've known you for 30 years. You don't even know it, but I have.
We'll be right back.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. Gubruds.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is all about keeping you comfortable at home. And when your sewer system backs up or the toilet suddenly won't flush, that's not comfortable. Sierra Pacific's expert plumbers are always ready to deal with household plumbing emergencies. We'll come out and solve the problem, no problem. Expert plumbing service anytime at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
All right, hour number 2, and I want to continue my conversation with Lewis. And, I would like to at least tie things in to sports if we could. Mm-hmm. And Lewis, let me just make one point. I'll let you then go ahead. Here's the point that I make about the end racism that is the message on the NFL fields. Why not put, end drunk driving when so many of the current NFL players are arrested every year for driving under the influence? Why don't we put end domestic violence when unfortunately we have players being arrested every year and being charged with domestic violence? Why don't we put, why don't we defend the violence going on in this country against the Jews? But all we talk about is race and racism. And here's the other part I want to make, and then I'll wait, and then one more point, then I'll give you as much time as you need.
Yes, sir.
So when you put end racism or choose love on the back of a helmet, let's take choose love. Am I really looking at that message and saying to myself, I was going to choose hate, but I'm looking at the messages on the back of the helmet, so I'm going to put choose love? I mean, are you insulting my intelligence here? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
They are. They are. Of course they are. Of course they are. These are the same folks who, and guess what? Heads rolled, right? We lost 8 head coaches. Oh, Lord, I got to. Right, I'm an insurance agent. Somebody trying to come up in my office. I'm gonna lock the door. I told him, right? I'm gonna locking his door. I'm telling him, give me 2 minutes. I locked the door on his ass. That's all right. Okay? That's what I had to do. But listen, it's a facade, right? They're playing. You lost 9, maybe 9 head coaches now. They done lost their jobs. The GMs, nope, we ain't had much movement there. But guess what we looked at? We had a guy who was graded in the first or second round who went in the 5th. Why? Who knows? This, that. Dude came in, won about 50% of his games, right? You know who I'm talking about. It's okay. He's not Joe Montana or whatever, this, that. But, man.
Yeah, I understand.
Come on, right? So this is those people. These people, they go right, choose in racism? Really? That's what was that what they wrote on there? You think that's what I believe they doing? When Colin Kaepernick, when he got bounced up out the league, he was still probably a quarterback that was probably in the top 20, right? Top 20 starter, right? He took a team to the Super Bowl or on the edge, whatever. Right?
I don't know about that, but worst case scenario, he should have been on an NFL roster, even if it was a backup. I think we can all agree on that.
Right. So these are those people, right? Whatever they writing on the back of their the people's helmets, I understand. It's a facade. They playing, right? And so, like you say, yeah, they're insulting your intelligence. Of course they are. But come on now, Grant, man, you can't rant against that message. You can't rant against they put choose love on the thing. Come on, man. You come on.
No, I can rant about it, and I will rant about it because it's a joke. You know what? I don't want to watch my sports and see all this political correctness, woke messaging everywhere. That's not why I want to watch the games. Just stop with the nonsense. Stop with the messaging.
Me either, man. Put the best players on the field. Stop playing with it. Start trying to, as Al Davis said, just win, baby, win. Come on, man. There's this part of that to me that's been lost with the NFL. They play too much. They play too much. So, man.
Well, Louis, you need to open up your door, man. You need to open up your door. I don't want it to be costing you money by you calling my radio show.
To roll up out of here. Look, the guy's about to roll up out of here. That's okay. I don't give a darn. That's how I roll. I don't give a darn. I'm going to come open it up. But I love you, Grant, man. I don't always agree with you. I've been listening to you for now 30 years, bro. We've been
I love you, man.
You don't even know. All right?
Hey, you know what? That means a lot to me. I appreciate you.
It is.
You take care.
For sure.
Take care, man. I appreciate you. Take care. Bye-bye. What a great call. That's awesome.
All right, let me catch you.
All right. He's closing his business. I got to talk to Grant. Go away. Hey, I mean, seriously. Oh, my gosh. I've been doing this show and other shows for decades and decades, okay? I've done this a long time. I've never had an individual on the other end who's open for business saying, go away, I'm locking my door. I'm not available because I'm talking to Grant. Oh, my gosh. I've had wives come up to me and tell me that I've affected their marriage greatly in an adverse way because their husbands had to listen to me. even when they were getting ready for intimate moments, they're like, they're like, you have no idea the negative effect you've had on our marriage. I've heard a lot of stories before, but I have not quite heard that one. Rhino, you gotta admire Lewis's devotion to the show, that he's locking his door and pushing away potential business.
Hey, no doubt, man. He felt some type of way. He had to wrap that conversation up.
I love it. I love it. You can call anytime. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great stuff. 916 779 0929. Oh my gosh. Wow. That got me rolling today.
Yo, Lewis.
What a great call.
Lewis, you do not want a bad review on like Yelp or Google. It'll never come down. So just don't make that a practice. Don't make that a practice.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. So on the same subject that I brought up that Lewis talked about, and I would love to get Lewis's opinion on a story that I'm going to read, because I think it centers around all of this, especially as we celebrate MLK Day. And I read this, and I've read it more than once, because I think it is, in a way, a microcosm of what is going on in our society today, where it doesn't seem to add up. It doesn't seem to make sense. And I wanted to get your take on this. From the 209, Rhino, how about this one? Lewis deserves a Bennett's gift card. You know what? He does deserve a Bennett's gift card. You're exactly right. That was my mistake.
As long as he doesn't lock his door to call us back to give us his information for that gift card.
Lewis, I would like to do that for you. If you would like to call back, Lewis, if you call back, Ryan will pick up. And I would love for you to be our guest at Bennett's. Better yet, Lewis, okay? Maybe you can meet me there for lunch, all right? We can break bread and we can have a great conversation. How would that sound? That might even be better. But you call back, I'll make sure you get a gift card from Bennett. So on the same line of topic, things that make sense and don't make sense on our sports fields and our stadiums and everything else, okay? Phil Mushnick, who I love, from the New York Post, wrote this, okay? And we talk about the times that we're living in today, and we talk about MLK Day. And again, I want to talk about one of my favorite sayings, if you weren't with me last hour. Our lives begin to end the day we remain silent about things that matter. I have never remained silent about things that matter. I was brought up in a family, and in particular by a father who never, ever, ever remained silent about things that matter. He always spoke up. And in many instances, he let his actions do his speaking. Actions speak louder than words. Okay? If things bother you, you don't have to necessarily speak up about it, things that matter. You can put actions into place that very often speak much louder than words. But I want you to digest what I'm about to read from Phil Mushnick in the New York Post of 2 days ago. When I paused to consider what the desperate state of Rob Manfred's MLB would be had it not instituted gay pride games, I shudder at the consequences. Many have been the times when gay friends and loved ones threatened to never spend another dime to attend a big league game and or cancel their expensive cable subscriptions to out-of-market games unless their homosexuality was conspicuously approved and saluted before and during MLB games. I can count them on less than one finger. So when the Dodgers celebrated Gay Pride Night by featuring and rewarding 5 fat bearded men, slobs, dressed as nuns to mock fading Catholic doctrine against homosexuality, a brazen and intentional pregame insult to a major U.S. religion. My gay friends lined up to declare, quote, "There, that's better. That made us proud." They were thrilled that Manfred and the Dodgers exploited their sexuality by inviting and honoring a bunch of fringe lunatic slobs in double XL nuns' habits as representatives of gay Americans. Sure. But it's funny how what we describe as the woke are so often heard and seen as the oblivious or those who refuse to see. And there's plenty more to come. Last week, the Orioles announced that in May, they will honor one of their own, a proud product of Baltimore, with a bobblehead giveaway game. Baseball, Baltimore, bobblehead night, easy one. Babe Ruth. He was born at 216 Emory Street in a row house in Baltimore's Pigtown section, February 6th, 1895. Now home to the Babe Ruth Birthplace and Museum. No, not the Babe, but a literary giant who wrote and lived in Baltimore, Edgar Allan Poe. Baltimore is home to the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum. Nope, not Edgar. While urban Baltimore has become globally infamous for profound crime problems, street murders have long been common. The Baltimore Orioles will honor a bobblehead fashion Tupac Shakur, a criminal social influencer who died in a 1996 ambush shooting set up by suspected rival gang members. He was 25. The fame for which Shakur will be honored is voluminous, from a conviction for sexual abuse to have been the recipient of bullets fired into him at a New York City rap recording studio to his first group, Thug Life. In parentheses, it included NBC Olympics co-host Snoop Dogg, to his album Strictly for My N-Word. Perhaps before or after our national anthem is heard, the Orioles' public address voice can invite the crowd to rap along with one of Tupac's numbers. They're all pretty similar. Orioles fans can start with these. My adversaries cry like hoes, open and shut like doors. Is you a friend or foe? N-word, you ain't know. They got me stressed out on death row. I've seen money, but baby, I've got to get mo. You screaming, go Tupac. And I ain't stopping till I'm well paid. Bail's paid now, N-word. Look what hell made. Almost as catchy as take me out to the ball game. But the world has gone nuts. Thus, if you condemn blacks and black Super Bowl halftime rappers for calling black men the N-word, the slur Martin Luther King Jr. vowed to eliminate before he was murdered, you risk being dismissed as a racist. How about that? Let me read that paragraph again. But the world has gone nuts. Thus, if you condemn blacks and black Super Bowl halftime rappers for calling black men the N-word, the slur Martin Luther King Jr. vowed to eliminate before he was murdered, you risk being dismissed as a racist. But who would dispute that world has gone nuts? Again, let me repeat that. But who would dispute that the world has gone nuts and just cutting it out? Hey, cut it out. Cutting it out is no longer an option. Oh, nearly forgot. Tupac Shakur, the bobblehead, is wearing an Orioles jersey. The all-black one, of course. Again, Phil Mushnick does not turn his head about things that matter. You may not agree with him. Someone said, back to sports, please. This is sports. This is sports. I just read an entire column on sports. 916, 100% sports. I just read a column about sports. The Baltimore Orioles, they are a team in the Major League Baseball League. Are you aware of that? That is sports. That is keeping it to sports. If you don't think that's sports, I would love to hear from you, and you can tell me. That has direct correlation to sports, and that's why I've talked about it. The messaging on the NFL fields and the back of the helmets is sports. It is the biggest sport that we have in America. It is a multi-billion-dollar business, and I am disgusted by the messaging that goes on with the NFL. That is sports. Now, you don't have to agree with me, but it is sports. Okay? It is sports. 916-779-0929. By the way, I was reading that story from Mush. Did Lewis call back?
He did. He collected his gift card, and he would like to take you up on your offer for lunch together.
Good. I will do that. I will do that in the very near future. I will get a hold of him, and we will do that. I would love that. 916-779-0929. That is 916-779-0929. I don't have a problem talking about these things. Not at all. 916 says back to sports, please. 916, send me a message. What do you want to talk about? You tell me. I've always said this is not my show. This is our show. It's not just what I want to talk about. It's what you want to talk about also. But I see, I'm not afraid to talk about these quote unquote sensitive issues. I've never been afraid to talk about these issues. And I'm not afraid to tell you what I think as it relates to these issues. And by the way, I would also add this. Based on what I have been through and what I have experienced the last 6 years, for what I feel was doing absolutely nothing wrong because I spoke up for what I believe in and how I was raised, and it's the fabric of who I am as a human being, I don't really care anymore whether you agree or disagree with me in the sense that, like, I truly don't care. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I don't mean that in a hateful way. I just mean, like, I don't care anymore. I've experienced so many different things over the last couple of years that I do things differently. And, like, at this point in my life, like, whatever I say, I don't really care about the consequences, if that makes sense. I guess that's putting it bluntly so everybody can understand. I try to be guarded with what I say because I do understand I am representing the company that I work for and the employees of this company. And I think that with that comes a responsibility, and I take that responsibility seriously. I don't take it lightly. And I believe that I have a professional standard that I am expected to uphold, and I have a professional standard for myself. And I always try to live by those standards. But, like, at the end of the day, as we talk about all of these things, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And if it costs me my job, I don't really care. I mean, I really, like, I don't care because I have no problem putting my head on the pillow at night. And that's just the reality of the situation, because I know who I am. I know that you know who you are. But, like, when you say back to sports, please, on the 916, everything that I've mentioned, with the exception of a 5-minute conversation with Lewis, who I haven't met before, but just from his call and what he had to say, I respect the heck out of. And I will guarantee you that when Lewis and I go to lunch, we will have an amazing conversation, because I'm all about dialogue. I'm all about sitting down with somebody that doesn't look like me, doesn't sound like me, that might be from a different generation. Okay, I'm all about learning about that individual and maybe listening to a different point of view that further educates me at this point in my life, which I did in Miami the first few years that I lived down there with my new network of friends that I spoke about openly on my podcast, where we talked about everything. Like, how many people listening right now would do that, have done that, where they have said, you know what, I'm a better person because of the conversation I just had with a complete stranger. That is a message that you should really think about. And when I had Mike Lamb, as we get the break here, on my podcast years ago, my former co-host, and again, this is sports, he talked about going from outside of Fresno, where he grew up, okay, Clovis, and he was very open about being on my podcast. He referred to himself as a redneck and said, I only knew what I knew. And he said when he went to play college football at USC and was around those players of color, Marcus Allen, Ronnie Lott, he mentioned by name, and others, that it completely opened up his eyes and changed his outlook on life, educated him to a degree which was not possible in Clovis, and made him the man that he is today. And I put Mike Lamb on a pedestal for the way he lives his life, the way he raised his children, and for what he believes in. You know what gave him that? Sports gave him that. Locker rooms can do that for you because in locker rooms, there are no borders. There are people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different religions, and what you learn in a locker room is invaluable, and it will carry you through life. Mike Lamb explaining that to me when I had him on my podcast, and I was grateful for his message of, you know what? Go with a stranger and break bread with them. Meet somebody that doesn't look like you, doesn't sound like you, doesn't have the same skin color as you, maybe not the same religion, different generation, and sit down with that person. And you know what you're going to find? That you really have a lot in common. And he hit that right on the head. More to come, 916-779-0929. This is the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
916-779-0929. A couple of messages from our YouTube page, Fox Sports Sacramento. Well said, Grant. That's why we stand with you for the last 40 years. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's get to Bill in Citrus Heights. Hello, Bill. Welcome to the show. Let's see here. We'll get Bill on. There we go, Bill. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, Grant, I just want to say, they're looking for a message to put on the helmet. How about E pluribus unum?
How about what?
E pluribus unum. From many one.
Amen. Go. What else you want to talk about?
Well, that's it, because there's all sorts of things that can put a little bit more manly things on there. How about bravery? How about courage? How about be honest? Have integrity. But
how about just put how about put the name? How about put the team's name on the back of the helmet the way most teams do, or just keep the white of the helmet, the foam padding, and have nothing on it? Why do we need a message on the back of the helmet? It's a uniform. Put the team's name, like the whatever. If you are a Cowboys fan, normally it says Cowboys on the back of the helmet. If you're a fan of another team, like whatever the team may be, it's got the team nickname on there. How about we do that?
Well, that's fine, but I'm just dealing with what is, not what.
I appreciate it, Bill. You have a good afternoon. Thank you very much. I think my hearing's not very good today. I'm not sure. I still don't know what he said, but that's okay. Appreciate all the messages. Thank you very much. 916-779-0929. Why don't we say hello to Lynn? Lynn, welcome to the show. Go ahead, Lynn.
Grant, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Lynn. What's happening?
I'm looking at the pregame, and it was like a home game for the Indiana Hoosiers. These guys travel amazingly. I cannot believe there's that much red in that stadium, especially being down in Miami. So what do you think tonight? Does Miami have a chance, you think? Or
yeah, of course they have a chance. It's college
Indiana?
football. So I don't think that, but I think Indiana's proven that they're clearly the better team, and they haven't made any mistakes, it seems like, all season, and I'm not expecting them to make a mistake tonight.
Yeah, should be interesting. Should be a good game. Should be interesting to see. And this weekend on the NFL, pretty crazy to see what Seattle did to the Niners. I thought that game would be a lot closer. And that place up there, have you ever been to Seattle for a game yet, Grant?
Yes, I have. I've been to a NFL game as a fan twice in Seattle, Seahawks, Giants on two different occasions. And I actually broadcast on TV a couple of games of the Seahawks against the Raiders, albeit that was preseason, which is not the same environment as a regular season. But yes, I've been there and loved the venue. I think it's a great stadium and it's a great place to watch football.
That environment in that game was amazingly crazy. I've been to Seattle many times. My wife used to love to go up there a lot of times. We've been there where those two stadiums are at. Really good place right by the water. But that was just unbelievable environment in that game. It should be interesting to see. We got a matchup again against the Rams and the Seahawks for the NFC West. It's kind of funny to see how good the NFC West did this week. I know it's a little bit too early to talk about next week. I find that very interesting to see that the Seahawks get a chance to play both the Niners and the Rams going into the playoffs.
Yep. Lynn,
right, Grant,
thanks, buddy. Appreciate
always.
it. Enjoy the game tonight. Thanks very much. We move along to Galt and Mike. Hello, Mike. Welcome.
All right, Grant. What's up?
Hey, Mike.
I just want to talk about the Kings real quick. I was really pumped up. I thought we had a chance to get 5 in a row. To me, that would have been the highlight of the season. I don't know if we're going to get another chance to win 5 in a row. But I love Cardwell, his attitude, his charisma. It just shows on the court. He's always flapping his arms. He looks like a big seagull landing. Just pure comedy after he does everything good. What do you think about that?
I'm not a fan of it. I just play the game. I know that if it's your personality and that's how you've always been, then if you've done that throughout high school and college, then I'm okay with it. But if it's something different, then I'm not a fan of it. Just play the game. I know that we talked about this with Jerry Reynolds on the postgame show the other night. He wishes it would calm down and settle down a little bit. Are you going to do that on the road too, or do you only do it at the home games? Like I'm not a fan of that stuff, but I'm a fan of him. I like watching him play. He brings a lot of energy to the team. He does a lot of things that no one else on the team can do. So he's been a bright spot for sure.
Also, I noticed in the last couple games, the Kings have been like kind of mixing it up with the other teams. The Rockets started it off. There was almost like a little fight there. With the Blazers, it's getting chippy almost every matchup. So maybe that's a team we just don't like is Portland.
Well, they need to beat Portland. Portland has played very well against the Kings, and Portland is, to me, right now ahead of the Kings in their development and their building of a basketball team. So the Kings, to me, need to catch up with Portland because they're ahead of Sacramento.
Yeah, totally. Well, thanks for taking my call. Go Kings. We'll see if we can get another mini streak going. I know a lot of fans are hoping for the draft pick.
Well, you better be hoping for the draft pick because it's really the only way you're going to move up and elevate yourself in this conference. There's no other way that you're going to become relevant in the West unless you get a special player in the draft. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Also, with the helmets in the NFL, I'm with you. How about just have the white pad in the back, and if your team name is the Bears or whatever it is, put that on the helmet.
Yep,
So,
it's a joke. I'm with you. Hey, Mike, appreciate the feedback. You have a good afternoon.
All right, thanks,
Take
Grant.
care. All right. 916-779-0929. And by the way, when I say I don't like the antics by Cardwell, it doesn't bother me. I'm just not a fan of that stuff. I'm just not. I know the fans probably love it, but I'm not in that group. It's just don't worry about it. Just play the game. Don't worry about all that other stuff. But he's been good. And you know what, Ryan? The thing I like about him, he seems to be getting better with each week. He seems to be getting more comfortable and a little more active. And I look at that as all positives.
Yeah, and the Kings have put him in better spots to excel offensively, mainly that dunker position. And that's helped him tremendously. It's helped the team as well. And he gives them something that really nobody else on the roster can give him. And it's straight up rim protection, a couple of feet above the rim. And Dylan, I said this since training camp, he has this knack that you can't teach. He stays vertical, which you don't see for rookies all that much. And he might foul a lot in other areas, but for as tricky of a play as that is, Napes, he's able to do it.
There's really, other than, and again, we'll hear some sound in the next hour from Doug Christie on this subject. And Jerry, we talked about it last night on the postgame show, the fouls that he's picking up. He is picking up a lot of fouls, but you do get 6. And Doug talked about that last night after the game, and we'll listen to that in a little bit. But, I just wonder, if that's just one area that you'd like to see he get better at, and maybe the cheap fouls. I don't know.
You just nailed it.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you just nailed it. It's the cheap fouls. He's not picking up fouls on the difficult plays to contest at the rim. He's picking them up on mindless little things where you do not want to be fouling that early into a quarter, or where it just doesn't make sense, right? Even the rotation doesn't make sense. But that's going to come with time. Nobody expected, probably Dylan didn't even expect to be playing as much as he's playing now and impacting the team from an energy standpoint that has been very positive.
And then I want to get to a soundbite that Doug had last night on Domantas Sabonis and the 2 games coming off the bench. And then he was asked why he was not on the floor and Cardwell was at the end of the game. And I didn't like the answer, just to be quite honest with you. And maybe I'm reading too much into this. I thought it was I read between the lines as not a favorable comment as it relates to Sabonis. And I was bothered by the way I thought it sounded. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah, no, I think there's a little meat between the bone or on the bone still about whether there's some context both with what he said and Malik Monk said as well. The problem is Domas was not having a good game. He had 6 turnovers, right? And Portland is a big team, but the way that Doug approached it, I mean, you'd think Domas is just kind of one of those other guys, right? He's not Domas and what he's been to this team the last 3 years.
Yeah, I was bothered by it, quite frankly, because of the body of work that Sabonis has put in. Now, I'm well aware that he had a lengthy absence due to his injury.
Yeah.
So I am putting that out there, but I believe that he needs to start beginning this week against Miami. All right, you've had 2 games. That's his 2 games to get into the flow, plus a couple of practices. He needs to be starting. He's a starter. He's a 3-time All-Star, should be a 5-time All-Star. He's been screwed by the league the last 2 years. He should be starting. He is clearly, all right, your best player, if not, your best player. He's your second best player. He needs to start.
Yeah, I've
period.
got, you know what? Let's get into that after the break. I've got some thoughts on that as well.
Okay, sounds good. We'll do that when we come back right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn 6-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Grant Napear on Fox Sports Sacramento, 916-779-0929. All right, Rhino, let's get into what we were just discussing, because I know you have some sound for us.
Yeah, so Doug Christie was asked about Dylan Cardwell being in the closing lineup just last night against Portland in the loss. One of the first times that we've seen it. And here's how Doug answered.
I think more than anything is the ability sometimes to switch 1 through 5. And, his activity and rebounding clinging is just an absolute monster down there. So you got to make sure that, you're contesting at the rim, like those 2 verticalities against Sharp. Like, it's not many people in the league that can do that type of thing. But, I mean, he is there. So, just trying to keep people in front of us and then rebound the basketball, and he was rebounding at a high level.
And let's play the other side of it. When Doug was directly asked about Domas, here's what he had to say.
No, he's just coming back. This is just game 2. I mean, it's a process. That's all. Yeah.
I mean, okay. I would have liked, well, how long is the process going to take? When will he be back in the starting lineup is what I would like to know. And personally, all right, I think 2 games for somebody of his caliber is enough with practices. And now you don't play again for a couple of days. I'd like to see him start against Miami.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it last night because you're rolling with the group that won you 4 games in a row starting.
I agree.
I think the questions begin if he does not start against Miami. But it's one of those things where, Doug, and you know what, might as well play it now. The offense has been centered over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 games, a lot more around the pick and roll. And you've seen more pick and rolls that have the big man involved rather than doing the guard forward or the guard to guard pick and rolls. And that is what produced the Kings a lot of those good 3-point attempts and good looks at them, and why they've shot over the last 5 games over 44% from beyond the arc. And the Kings just didn't really get a lot of those. And so Doug kind of addressed that on the offense last night.
No, he's just coming back.
Excuse me. That is the wrong one. Doug was talking about the offense. Here we go. I guess we don't have it. We don't. I'll have to get that during the break.
Okay, no problem. We got plenty of time to.
Sorry about that.
No. Hey, we got plenty of time to cover it all. So no issue. The situation with the Kings is this has been a really good homestand so far. They've got 2 more games left. They've only lost 1 game. They played a lot better, and let's see how they bounce back coming up against Miami and Toronto in a back-to-back.
Davion Mitchell going to be excited to play against Sacramento here.
I know he's been missing a couple of games. I hope he's healthy and good to go, but be fun to see him play if he's on the floor.
Definitely, yeah. And Tyler Hero also dinged up. Not sure if he is going to be available.
He's been in the trade rumors a lot for the Miami Heat. He lot. I hear Tyler Hero a lot. I will tell you, I'll never forget announcing him in the California Classic when he was a rookie. And he really stood out to me, as did in that one Duncan Robinson. And I remember those 2. But Tyler Hero, when he played in the Summer League in Sacramento before the Vegas Summer League, he's a player that really stood out to me where I was like, wow, like Miami, like this guy is going to be really good. And he has been. But I mean, it stuck out to me just watching him in the first Summer League game that I watched him in person. I was like, ooh, This guy's good.
It's funny that you say that because it didn't stick out to me on film as much as it did in person when I saw him shoot and play for the first time, how high and quick his release is. It's
Yeah.
really tough to get to it.
By the way, Mitchell is listed as probable for the game against the Warriors, so that means he should be good. Hero is not playing at all on this road trip, so he is dealing with an issue, and I'm not really sure. It has to do with his ribs. I don't know exactly to what extent, but he had an MRI that revealed something where he would not appear on the current 5-game road trip.
So there you go.
Now, Miami's good. I mean, and they're well coached. They're not great, okay, but they are well coached. They're playing Miami tonight, and you look at the standings right now, and it's like that next man up philosophy with Miami. They're not great, but they're good. They're 22-20. But here's their Achilles heel. They're really good at home and not very good on the road. They're only 7-13 on the road. That's got to get better for the Miami Heat, who are currently 8th in the East.
And they've got plenty of time to improve on that. You remember the game last year. I would say that was one of the better games after the trade deadline for the Kings. One of Doug's better games where the Kings were on the second night of a back-to-back at the G1C. Miami was waiting for them. Kings took them to overtime and really ran them out of the gym. So it'd be nice to see something similar. The faster this team plays, ultimately, the better.
Conversely, your opponent after Miami, Toronto, they're very good on the road. They're 12-9 on the road and only 13-10 at home. So they have not had a really good success rate on their home court this year. They've been much better on the road. If you want to just compare the difficulty of playing on the road compared to home, they're a good road team. And they play the Warriors the night before they play in Sacramento.
Great. Is that just different for every team, or is there a consistency with teams that just aren't good on the road?
Most teams will have a winning record at home. Let me back up. Teams that are good will always have a much better record at home than on the road. Your elite teams, obviously their road record is going to be very, very good. But the majority of teams in the NBA, even the good teams, not the great teams, even the good teams in the NBA are generally right around the 500 mark for a 41-game road schedule. They're normally going to have between 20 and 23 and 24 wins on the road, normally right around 500 more so than not for good teams. Just the way it's always been for whatever reason.
Very interesting.
Well, all right, let me embellish it this way, okay? Right now in the East, here are the teams that have a winning record on the road. Detroit, Boston, Toronto, Philadelphia, Cleveland only 10-9. Those are the only teams with a winning record on the road. In the West, all right, these are the teams with a winning record on the road. Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Denver, Minnesota. The Lakers only 12-8 at home, 13-8 on the road. That's it. No other team in the West has a winning record on the road. And even some of the good teams like Houston, losing record on the road. Minnesota, 4th in the conference, only 2 games above 500 on the road. Phoenix, 7th, losing record on the road. Golden State, 8th, 5 games under 500 on the road. The numbers don't really lie.
Yeah, that's made all the difference in the world for Boston. 14-8.
They have been really, really good on the road.
Yeah.
Really good. Yep.
Traveled well. Peyton Pritchard playing good basketball.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah. Again, if you want to get in on the show, 916-779-0929. Patrick weighing in. Another dismal performance by the Knicks. You know, the Knicks got some real issues. They really do. The West Coast trip was horrendous for them. And so coming off a road trip back home, and you would think, okay, you know what? They're going to be okay. I don't know what's going on with them right now.
It's ever since
really
the
don't.
NBA Cup. the Emirates Cup.
Yep. And obviously losing Brunson in the game against Sacramento did not help with the ankle. That's not going to make your life any easier. That's for sure.
No. And if you're the Knicks, especially that it's a championship or bust, they've got to get a backup for Brunson. Somebody else that can come in and at least kind of stir the drink up. They have to at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So, again, you look at the Knicks right now. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 25-18, which is now 8 games in the loss column behind first place Detroit. And now they're 3 games back in the loss column of the second place Celtics. The Knicks have lost, Rhino, 8 of 10 games right now.
It's incredible. That's a bad slide in that market.
Well, it's a horrible slide in that market. And you know who's going to start feeling the heat? It's going to be Mike Brown. And the tabloids and the fans will turn on Mike in a New York second, no pun intended.
Well, I think they've already kind of pointed out the nuances between what he's kept from Tibbs and what he's implemented. You've got Towns, who has not been as productive under Mike Brown.
Correct.
They're already kind of poking around, and it'll be that way with any other coach. I think if you're the Knicks, you're also thinking that Boston's going to come back to the field a little bit. I don't think Boston will keep this up for 82 games, but we could be wrong.
Well, and the other aspect of all of that, we don't know what moves will be made or will not be made, but the Mavericks beat the Knicks at the Garden today, 114-97.
Yeah, 97 at home.
Yeah.
Just can't do it. All right, last second picks. You going Indiana? We both went
I'm going Indiana.
Yep.
We both picked Indiana, and we gave the, I think what was it, 8.5?
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, Cooper Flagg in the game today had 18. It was his first pro game at Madison Square Garden. Max Christie had a season-high 26, 114-97, the final in that game. And again, we talk about a Knicks team Jalen Brunson did play, but he missed a couple games on the road trip. But he played, 34 minutes, so he's back. The Knicks were healthy. They had everyone playing. They had Josh Hart starting. They had Bridges, Brunson, Towns, and Anunoby, and they got demolished.
Well,
and here's the other deal. They got off to a bad start. We talk about coming back from a road trip. They gave up 31 in the first quarter. You ready for this?
Yep.
You ready for this score? The Knicks were outscored at home by the Mavericks in the second quarter, Ryan, 44-25.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right. They gave up 75 points. Listen to this, Rhino. They were down at the half, 75-47. Can you imagine the Boo Birds out at the Garden today?
Oh, boy. Day off, going to see the Knicks. They're going to get back on track. MLK Day.
Yep.
Yep.
Brutal. Yeah, that's not good. Grant's Rant coming up here in a couple of moments. College football getting underway with Miami. We'll have the first possession of the game and a lot of red in the stands at Hard Rock Stadium. I told you I was at this championship game in 2020.
Yeah.
Actually, the actual calendar date was 2021, Alabama and Ohio State. Perfect weather for football there. It's beautiful in the evenings, South Florida. It was a gorgeous day today. Fans just celebrating all day, getting ready. But it's a sea of red at Hard Rock Stadium outside of Miami. It's really in Fort Lauderdale.
Our buddy Damon Bruce made the trip to
Yes, I saw that.
The Natty. He said that the airport was full of Indiana people. There's a video actually that was going viral of an Indiana fan on a flight, and he gets most of the flight to do the IU rally or the chant, whatever it is, the fight song. It's really funny. You got to check it out because he's like giving you the story. Oh, I might be a little drunk or not, but like it was super lovable and in a good way. So they're definitely filling that stadium tonight, as they should. You don't know when you'll see this Hoosiers team back in a natty again.
Yeah. It's fun unless you're a fan of the Miami Hurricanes and you're on that flight.
I mean, I'm
just saying, I agree with you. It's fun, but it's not fun if you're like rooting for the other team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fair enough. I've been on one of those flights with Niners fans headed to Seattle. I get it. But, you're flying in if you're like a Michael Irvin Hurricanes fan, right? Most Miami fans are going to be in
God,
Miami
I don't want to talk
already.
about Michael Irvin after this game.
Oh, get ready to watch him tonight. He's going to be all over.
All right. Grant's Rant coming up next. Final hour of the show right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580 or go to elitepower.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
And this is Above the Noise. The Indiana Hoosiers look like a juggernaut heading into tonight's national title game, and they deserve every ounce of respect they're getting. But once the ball is kicked off, reputation no longer matters. Everyone has a chance, and Miami brings the one thing that can flip any game on its head: a dominant defensive line. History tells us this is how elite teams get knocked off. The Giants stunned the undefeated Patriots, and it's how the Eagles and Buccaneers took down Patrick Mahomes. When you can consistently create pressure, you control the game. Indiana is more than just Fernando Mendoza. The Hoosiers are balanced, well-coached, they're tough, and they're experienced. But when you look at the biggest upsets in recent memory, they all start the same way. Quarterbacks under pressure, timing disrupted, stars forced into mistakes. Miami thrives in that chaos. If the Hurricanes can live in the backfield and make Mendoza uncomfortable, we have a chance for a potential upset. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance, scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals, but Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that goes above and beyond to help you keep more of what matters. No hunting, no hassle, just confidence that your coverage customized with savings in mind. Start your quote at libertymutual.com. Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Firestone tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan, see their Firestone test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Yes, it is. What do you have for me today, Mr. Ryan in Sacktown?
I have some sound to go with your rant options today, so I'll give you the first that is without sound. Last night on the telecast, the Kings had an A's player join the booth, and it wasn't just that. The Kings are now selling A's jerseys in their team store, and some fans are a little upset about that. So there's option number one. Option number two, we've been talking about the national title game, and I'm glad you brought up Mike Lamb, because when I heard this and I saw this, I thought about guys like him and those that played in the 80s and the 90s in college, not because that they're not being paid and getting NIL, but they would have done anything for an extra year of eligibility. It was a big deal if you redshirted or you were able to get an exception. Well, during media day, before the national championship game, this was the question to Carson Beck.
Did you have class yesterday? If so, what class? And I know there was a pep rally on campus. Just what has it been like being you as a student this week, particularly yesterday?
No class. I graduated 2 years ago.
Wow.
Bad look, NCAA. Really bad look. You got to get this reined in. That's just sad.
Wow.
And last but not least, Kyle Shanahan was catching some flack for what he said after the game in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I know Sam with having the oblique stuff, but warm-ups are like that, but it takes a while for the Toradol to kick in, so we knew he'd be fine once kickoff came, which that doesn't really have to do with pressure and stuff. That sometimes can affect how they throw, but usually when that Toradol kicks in, it doesn't. So Sam played really well today.
He said Toradol, which is one of the shots that players will commonly get before games. It's nicknamed, quote unquote, vitamin T because it is common. It's an anti-inflammatory. But Grant, the entire internet's up in arms about Toradol. What did you think was in those shots? Liquid Advil? Get out of here. Take your choice, buddy.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the college football is professional sports now. And if you go back and listen to Carson Beck's answer, that tells you all you need to know about college football. It is professional sports now. It is basically another league in addition to the National Football League. Heck, you can even make the same comment now about high school football in some areas, right? When you see your local quarterback from Folsom High School, getting millions of dollars to sign with Under Armour and then is on a big-time commercial while he's playing football, okay, as a kid in high school, are we filtering our professional football down to college and now through high school football? You know what the answer to that question is? Yes, we are. Let's just call it the way it is. It is no longer a collegiate sport as we think about it. It is now full-fledged college football. So you're telling me that Carson Beck has not gone to college in 2 years? How is he enrolled by the NCAA, okay, to play college football? And what's the deal with players playing on 4, 5, and 6 teams and playing into their mid-20s and having 6 years of eligibility? I mean, it's a joke. It's not college football. It's professional football. And you know what? We're all watching it, and we're all saying, you know what? It is what it is. I'm not a fan of it. I'm old school. Give me the way it used to be. You had 3 really good rant ideas. It is insulting to be a Sacramento Kings fan, in my opinion, and have a disdain for ownership, which I think is commonplace. I think that would be the majority of fans. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I think the majority of Kings fans are unhappy with Vivek Ranadive. A lot of the fans in Sacramento are anti-A's fans because of John Fisher. And then there are those who are upset that the A's are playing in West Sacramento. And, of course, Vivek is part of that and bringing the team to West Sacramento. So now you're telling me, Rhino, I want to make sure I heard you correct. You're telling me that if I go into the Sacramento Kings team store, the official team store at Golden One Center, I can now buy A's gear as well?
I'm telling you, A's gear was for sale. Jerseys were out for sale at yesterday's game.
Wow. That was not, to the best of your knowledge, just a one-night promotion. That is now standard in the Kings team store. Wow.
Well, we'll see next home game, but it's just very, I think it's off-putting for fans who have not seen Vivek Ranadive in areas or places that you would normally expect to see the owner, but you see him courtside, and now you have an A's night, and now you're selling jerseys, but we want answers about our team. You get where that's off-putting a little bit?
I don't have a problem with an A's night just because they are, whether you like it or not, they are playing in your town. I'm not crazy about having, you said there was a A's player on the telecast last night?
Correct.
And were they being interviewed or were they commentating on the game?
I believe they were being interviewed during the game, and they had their picture up on the telecast.
Okay, gotcha. Maybe that's a little excessive in the middle of a Kings telecast, but I don't have a problem with a night for the A's. They do play, at least now, right in your neck of the woods over the river in West Sacramento. I don't really, what is that, a hop, skip, and a jump from Golden One Center? I'm not bothered by that. I'm not. That doesn't bother me.
Okay. It's fair cross promotion. I do think selling the jerseys, though, is a little.
It's over the top.
Yeah, you're starting to get, because you're not selling things for most other promotional nights.
Yeah. Yeah, that's over the top. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. The Miami-Indiana game, both teams have had one possession, could not do much with it. And so each team has punted, and it's now the second possession of the game for the Miami Hurricanes, wearing all white jerseys in the Natty with Indiana red helmets, red jerseys, white numerals, white pants. The home team as the higher seed playing Miami for the national championship, with the spread being, 8.5 points. So we'll see if this can be a fun game and be up for grabs when we get to the fourth quarter, because that has not been the case in the previous two games for the Indiana Hoosiers. They have blown out their opponents. Embarrassed them, actually. Embarrassed them. All right, NFL, if you want to reflect back on what we watched this past weekend. Horrible job by C.J. Stroud. Horrible job by Josh Allen. And if I'm going to be more critical of one or the two, I'm being more critical on Allen at this point in his career with his playoff experience. At least with C.J. Stroud, I can say, well, he doesn't have a lot of playoff experience, blah, blah. I can't say that about Josh Allen. You can't do that. And, he was extremely emotional, in tears, at the podium, because he said he let his team down. He did let his team down. He did. Plain and simple. In the biggest game of the year, in a game that was very winnable, in a game that really you controlled, you did let your team down. So I've got no problem with his comments, and I'm right with him on that. He did. He absolutely let his team down. So it sets up the Rams and the Seahawks. Rano, this year I've been pretty consistent that I have said the one team Seattle does not want to see in the playoffs is the Rams.
Yep.
And here they are, and it's the Rams. The reason why I have said that is for one reason and one reason only. I can't, in my mind, take Sam Darnold making the plays over Matthew Stafford. However, I'm also allowed to change my opinion. And I've been very impressed with Darnold over the last couple of weeks. Your thoughts?
I've been impressed too. My initial thought is yes, it is concerning because he has struggled against the Rams. My mind goes more towards the oblique than it does the struggles against the Rams because that's just an injury that will linger with you, and you need everything going for you, including your legs, against the Rams at times. And I just, it's a game that.
But he didn't have any issue on Saturday night.
But Grant, that 49ers defense was playing. Their inspiration was at a higher level than their talent. Let's be honest. The D line.
Yeah, but I'm talking about his movement, his throwing, the zip on the ball. There was nothing that you couldn't. If you didn't know that Sam Darnold had quote unquote an oblique issue, you would have never known by watching the game.
Yeah. So, and I know that.
So why would I think that that it's going to be an issue this week? I don't think it will be an issue at all.
Because I think you can only take Toradol like once every month.
Well, whatever he'll take what he needs to take on Sunday.
No, it's just, you know what? Maybe it's a little bit of PTSD against the Rams. Everything is in Seattle's favor. You've got the game in Seattle. I wonder about the coaching. I wonder about Matthew Stafford. It's a classic offensive versus defensive matchup, but they are the two best complete teams in the NFC. The NFC has it right this year.
They do have it right. I don't think there's any question about that.
So,
and then go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't get to ask you, what were your thoughts on Caleb's last interception?
I thought it was more on the receiver than Caleb Williams, and I thought it was pretty apparent on the replay.
That he didn't see the ball or he cut it off?
I don't know. It just didn't seem like he ran the right angle. It just was very puzzling to me.
Yeah.
I can't fault Caleb Williams for the game yesterday. That 4th and 4 is as good as any play that I've seen a quarterback make. It's unbelievable.
It's the best throw
Seriously.
of my lifetime. And I sat back and I thought about the different throws that came to mind and the situations, what was on the line. I mean, you go back and you watch that ball, it's almost like watching an infielder trying to catch a foul ball because it's kind of moving around and it just lands right there to where the receiver could only get it. And
yeah. I mean, I thought the Eli Manning to Mario Manningham pass in the fourth quarter of the Patriots game was as good as any throw I've seen a quarterback make.
Yeah.
But what I saw yesterday, I mean, still just absolutely unbelievable.
The arm power to be backing up that much and to throw it that way. I thought if we're going to put it somewhere, and I understand it's the Bears formula, but the Bears defense has not been great. They were bottom of the league this year. They've been winning in shootouts because of the offense. When your offense was humming, I thought Ben Johnson put too much on that defense. I thought he, by not kicking the field goal on that first possession in a game like that, and then again to leave 6 potential points on the field, you're assuming your defense is going to play the way that it played in the first quarter all game, and that's just not been the case at all this year for Chicago.
And by the way, speaking of defenses, I'm tired of hearing about Denver having a great defense. They don't have a great defense. They have a good defense. Their defense is not great. I hate the word great. It's overused too much. Houston's defense is great. Denver's defense is not great. It's good. I mean, the Buffalo Bills were able to move the ball up and down the field, the entire game. I've seen other teams do that. You don't do that against a great defense. It's overrated. Seattle, to me, has got a great defense. Denver doesn't. I mean, Denver's defense is not Seattle's defense.
No, not even close. Not even close. You were spot on, too, about players and splintering possibly in the locker room. Not totally, but how do we not win that game? All you needed to do was, it was not anything crazy that needed to be done on offense. With the Bills opening, since we are going football right now, I guess I'll ask you, who do you think they're going to turn to and look to hire as the next coach?
Oh, that's a great question. I do know one thing. It's a very attractive job So they will not have any shortage of candidates. The question is, do you want to go with another defensive coach as a head coach? Do you want to go offensive coach, or do you think that doesn't matter because the head coach, encompasses all of it, but that is part of it as well. So, yeah, that is I wonder if Harbaugh would have thrown his hat in that ring if that had been the case. By the way, just to embellish what I was saying, the Buffalo Bills had 450 yards of total offense. Okay, you don't do that against a great defense. Great defenses don't give up 450 yards. So they're not a great defense. They're a good defense. But as far as, who will be the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills? Wow. Yeah, is there a more attractive job currently than that one? The answer is no, right?
No, absolutely not. I think you have to go offensive simply because Josh Allen's 30 years old.
Yeah.
You've got to, he's that good. I mean, he carried that.
Well, then your
team.
offensive coordinator's the key.
Okay. All right.
Like if you're going to change coordinators, and generally that's what happens, not saying that it would, but I mean, generally that's going to happen here, then, yeah.
You're opening a new building.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I wonder if Brian Dable, who is not yet, even though he had been rumored to be an offensive coordinator on a couple of teams in the NFL, I wonder if he's a candidate. He was very well liked, respected up there, has worked with Josh Allen in that offense. There's a great chemistry there, and I'm just wondering if they would have interest in him.
Maybe. That's a great question. What about Jason Garrett?
I love Jason Garrett, and I don't know, though, if he's the right guy based on what happened with him as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure that fit is the right one in Buffalo. And not to be disrespectful of Jason Garrett, because I really like him. I think you need that blue-collar image to be the head coach in Buffalo, and that's not Jason Garrett.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's very important up there. If you've ever been to Buffalo, I've spent time up there. The culture of that town, when you look at the Marv Levy, right? You look at McDermott, you look at the you need a blue-collar type of a coach there. That's not Jason Garrett.
Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy could fit there. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I would hire Brian Dable if I'm the Bills. I think he'd be perfect to be the head coach there based on what you just said about Allen and everyone else. He knows the organization inside and out. It would be an offense that Allen's familiar with. There would be a lot of consistency there. It would make Allen and a lot of the players there very happy. They were very fond of Dable. I think it could be a really good choice.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, he did turn around the Giants quickly.
Yeah, he did. 916-779-0929. And I've been on, listen, I'd rather have John Harbaugh than Brian Dable. So let me get that out there. But
yeah,
I think Dable should have kept his job and Joe Shane should have been the one replaced.
And
I just
better than me, but Joe's been able to make it through. I mean, even Harbaugh, it looks like he's going to have a place there as well.
Yeah, I just wonder when it comes time to make that key decision, is it going to be Harbaugh making it or is it going to be Shane? And I mean like the draft coming up. Like if you have two players on a board that you absolutely love and you have them both graded out the same, who's going to make the final call?
It's got to be Harbaugh. He's not coming there and taking that job without having that.
Yeah.
He said it before. It was going to be part of, and, they had to negotiate and it dragged on a little bit, but it's going to be him. And so that's where it's like, okay, well, where is Joe now valuable? If John's going to be making a decision, is he a good scout? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I do know one thing. If I am a player on the New York Giants, I have to be very happy with what appears to be a really top flight head coach and a coaching staff that will be assembled. Okay. I mean, I would have to clearly be on board. Indiana is on the board first with a field goal, 2:42 left in the first quarter. and they lead by the score of 3-0.
So give me your answer on the other side of the break, but you're the perfect person to ask. What should Giants fans' expectations be now?
They should be a playoff team next year. They should be a wild card team. That's what they're assuming that Malik Neighbors is healthy, which he should be, and ready to go with the high draft pick. With some of the other personnel, they should be a playoff team. All right, we will come back. We'll talk more about these topics. Your phone calls, text messages, 916-779-0929, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
At Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, just as our name says, we're in the business of home comfort. So if the heater goes out and the house is suddenly uncomfortable, we got your back. Sierra Pacific's friendly heating and air technicians are always ready to come to the rescue when you need it the most. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, trusted heating, air, solar, and electric experts. Visit today at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
It's the All Things Legal Show, heard every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Join your host, Craig Ashton, with an entertaining and eclectic view of all things legal. Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
If you missed hour number one, we'll replay it at 6 o'clock. Sean Salisbury tomorrow, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Pacers lead the Sixers 58-56. The Suns all over the Nets 56-40 in Brooklyn. The Celtics lead the Pistons in Motown 16-8. And, of course, some of the other finals we gave to you earlier in the association, including the Knicks losing at home today and got beat badly at the Garden. Wow. Yeah. Not going to be fun to be in New York for a while if you're Mike Brown, because you had the owner a little more than a week ago go on WFAN in New York and say, we need to be hanging a banner up as NBA champions and we need to be in the NBA Finals this year. Tom Thibodeau's probably sitting back with a big smile on his face right now, Rhino.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Exactly. Can't blame him. You know, I mean, if I'm Tom Thibodeau, I'm probably rejoicing a little bit in their struggles at the moment. Of course, you know and I know, and we can say whatever we want. They are going to be judged by one thing and one thing only, and that's how they play in the playoffs. All right? And if the Knicks do not succeed in the playoffs, it's going to be right at James Dolan and the ownership for firing Tom Thibodeau after they had their most successful season, okay, in 25 years. That's going to come right down to ownership and management about the mistake of getting rid of Tom Thibodeau. That's where they're at. There is no middle ground there.
So if you get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, I get if you fire Mike Brown because of the situation. But is there anything outside of a championship that would keep Mike Brown next year?
Yeah, I mean, if they have a couple of, if Jalen Brunson gets hurt and is not able to play in the playoffs and another player gets down,
okay,
yeah, that would, because you can't blame that on the coach, even in New York. I think the biggest issue with the Knicks right now, based on what I watched last year to this year, and I don't watch the Knicks play every night, is the difference in Karl Anthony Towns, who is definitely was definitely a top flight player under Tibbs, but this year has not gotten it going yet under Mike Brown. And you saw what happened in Sacramento, where Mike Brown actually called him out in the post-game press conference. So, and you listen, Mike Brown's not afraid to do that. He did it with Fox, and you could say, well, maybe that cost him his job when Fox had the inexplicable play against the Pistons last year in the corner. And Mike Brown had no problem calling him out in the post-game press conference.
Yeah, nationally, Mike Brown caught some flack for that.
Well, you know, players today are just way too sensitive. De'Aaron Fox should have come out right after the game and said, this game's on me. He never did that. And, you know, it's just, it was the wrong way to handle it.
Since we're talking about Mike Brown, I found this super interesting after last night's game. Malik Monk was asked about if there was any takeaways that the team could bring with them from this 4-game winning streak. Check out what Malik said.
It was possible last year at the beginning of the year. We seen that we could do it. But yeah, we just seen we could do it.
Wow. Huh. That says a lot, doesn't it?
It was possible last year.
Right.
Beginning, not just last year, beginning.
Yeah. Yep. That's when Malik Monk was part of the team. I'm being so cynical.
Yeah. Listen, okay. He was asked about the constantly changing rotations.
I feel like that's a Doug question, but yeah, I'm used to it because it's been happening a little bit this year, but I really don't know more than that. So yeah, I'll be used to it. So.
Yeah, he's right. It is a Doug question. It's not his question. You could, if you read between the lines, those two comments tells you everything you need to know about where Malik Monk, his head is as he feels about this present situation. And I don't see how anyone can blame him one iota.
I've always said Malik Monk is a straight shooter.
Yep.
If he is looking you in the eyes, he does not sugarcoat. And that's just another example of it. He's also asked about Domas. I thought this was really great how he responded.
You ain't gonna be able to tell out of 2 games. So he's been moving good though. Moving good. Haven't been complaining about his knee hurting. So that's been good. And yeah, so he'll be all right though.
He will be all right. I do agree with him on that.
See where the focus is at? It's the bigger picture for Malik. Big thing is his knee feels good. He hasn't been complaining.
Yep.
But
this one, again.
It was possible last year at the beginning of the year. We seen that we could do it. But Yeah, we just seen we could do it.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Okay, if you're Doug Christie, you make anything of that?
Yeah. You got to look in the mirror and acknowledge that you've made a terrible blunder with how you've coached Malik Monk, and that's on you and maybe Scott Perry, and it's on nobody else. You are the coach. You're the one that determines who goes into the game or not, and the reality is you failed miserably as it relates to Malik Monk. I mean, that's if you really want to, own up to it, you need to look in the mirror and go, yeah, I made a mistake on this. And by the way, coaches aren't perfect.
No.
And I'm okay with coaches making mistakes, just like I'm okay with players making mistakes. But, you got to own the fact that as an organization, you made a brutal mistake on this.
Is that a message beyond Doug Christie
Yes.
and Scott Perry from Malik Monk?
Well, when you say beyond Doug Christie and Scott Perry, I don't know who else you would include in that.
The owner?
But no.
Is that a message to ownership
I
about
don't
firing Mike Brown?
Yes. Okay. If you're talking about last year, yes, it is. That's number one. And number two, most people know, not only fans, but all NBA executives and coaches and a lot of former players know what horrible ownership Sacramento has. That's not a secret. That is well known. The NBA is a close-knit fraternity, and that's not a secret. We all know that. It's not a mystery.
Does he?
But yes.
Does he still fit within the 6 principles and pillars?
Does who?
Malik Monk?
Yes, 100%. He said, ask Doug, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, absolutely. I can't fault Malik in one thing this year. Not one thing.
Speaking of Doug, the problem this year, Grant, has been the logjam at the guard position, but slowly you're starting to see a logjam at the forward and center position. Here's Doug on that.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, these are good problems to have, but his rim protection, his activity, his contesting, shots, especially sometimes if we're not containing people off the dribble, that he's back there to help you out. But now the guard's got to crash back at the same time and veer off into the opposite big. But his activity is high level, and that's what we want. And the rebounding, what do you end up with tonight? 10-2 offensive, but 6 fouls. Like, he's not leaving anything on the board, that's for sure.
I like the growth. And in all fairness, I've been pretty critical of the team this year and everything else. That's a nice job by Scott Perry. I mean, that's a really good job. That's a really good find by him and the staff.
Yes. The scouting staff has been excellent. It goes back to everything we've been saying for the last couple years on, if you don't like that, about, the overall process that's going on between Sacramento and Stockton.
916-779-0929. I'm really happy that you played those comments for Malik Monk, because to me, they're very telling. And Malik's very bright in how he does interviews. Like, Malik doesn't strike me as a guy that isn't calculating what he wants to say. Like, I don't think he would speak and then go, boy, I really wish I hadn't said that.
Nope.
He's not that guy. So I have a lot of respect for Malik. I'm a huge fan of his, and I just feel awful for him because I can't. I've been going over this for weeks and weeks and weeks now. I can't believe the way he's been treated here. I just can't believe it. It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. I mean, we've asked the question, what was handled when Mike Brown came back? What was handled worse, Mike Brown's firing or Malik Monk this year? And
wow,
quite frankly, I think they're about equal. I think actually you can make the argument Malik's is worse.
Yeah.
And to your point, a lot of players say things at the mic, but don't follow through. Like, they're not actually doing them.
Right.
And Malik, behind the scenes with the young guys, incredible. Malik, his voice, that directness, the calculation that you're talking about, exact same way. with the guys in the locker room, even for the ones that might
Yeah.
not want to speak up. And that's why he is so popular in that locker room, and sometimes a little bit of a pest with the coaching staff because he stands up for his guys. And I respect the heck out of that.
I do too. Very well said. Final segment straight ahead on this MLK Day 2026, Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Final segment right here on Fox Sports Sacramento, still 3-0. Indiana, which the pace of this game definitely is going to favor Miami. If they can keep this thing close, that's the way they play. You know, they grind it out. They want close games. They want to blow a team out. But I mean, the point is, you know, against Indiana, they got to be very happy with the way this game looks right now.
No doubt.
Really playing well.
That is exactly what Chris Landry talked about last Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget Sean Salisbury tomorrow. We'll talk about the results of tonight's game, plus all of the quarterback play. I want to get his take on C.J. Stroud, Allen. I really want to talk a lot of quarterback play tomorrow. That's coming up with Sean Salisbury. Thursday, of course, we got Chris Landry and a couple of other guests throughout the week, hopefully, right here on the Grant Napear Show. You still have time to get in on the program at 916-779-0929. Folks, if you've been waiting to buy a home, then you must be prepared to act soon for what's about to happen in the real estate market. Expected rate cuts, yes, indeed, and they will renew the housing market demand. And if you're a buyer, guess what's going to happen? You will flood the market. you know that the result of that will be bidding wars and homes will sell quickly. And you need to get your ducks in a row. And the best way to start is to have an experienced broker to represent you. That's why I love talking about Village Financial Group, Spencer Grimmenstein. He's that guy. He's that broker and owner. He has white glove service. It's boutique experience. It's a one-stop shop method, which makes it so easy. Spence will navigate you through the process from start to finish. He also has extensive home listings to choose from throughout Northern California. Go to their website, vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. Spence got 30-year mortgage brokering experience. Yes, he will get you the best rates. He also has access to private money to help you expedite getting your offer accepted and closed. Folks, it makes sense to call Spence or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. It makes sense to call Spence, Village Financial Group. Give me a call before we conclude on the show. 916-779-0929. Again, that's 916-779-0929. And as we, wrap up this show today, Ryan is a Seahawks fan. And if you were looking at this from your seat and I asked you to evaluate the 49ers season, I evaluate it as a really excellent season based on everything that they went through. Do you have a different take, or do you agree with that?
I completely agree with you. And I would add in, there was, to me, a character, a degree of heart, a degree of grit that I learned about the team this year. Just hitting roadblock after roadblock and next man up mentality, a degree of toughness that before maybe I kind of looked at the Niners and said, oh, a bunch of high paid, pretty boy, nice car type of players. No, these guys are tough. They're gritty. I have a new respect for them.
I also like what I heard coming out of the locker room from the Niners. To a man, they were all talking about, man, it was so awesome to be part of this team this year.
Yeah.
And wait till next year, and we're going to use this as the fuel. And I like what I really heard. It was real positive coming out of the Niners locker room.
Look, they were playing. Again, I say this, and I don't mean any disrespect, with house money. And the fan base certainly felt that way. Now the players, they're in the moment. They're 3 games away from a championship. To be that close and to deal with the adversity that they did, now there's they learned something about each other this year, genuinely. And I love that for them.
All right, from the 858, Grant Rhino, would you ever trade Keegan Murray? Is the return worth it? Well, you don't know what the return is going to be. Yeah, I would trade him. Absolutely. There's nobody on the Kings I wouldn't trade. So, yeah, absolutely, I would trade him if I felt it would make my team better and it made sense. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Nope, he's untouchable.
He's not untouchable.
I know. I'm playing.
Oh.
Yes, I would trade.
I have to come at you like that because there are people listening and going, they're going to go on social media. Wow, Ryan said Keegan Murray's untouchable.
He's untouchable. Ryan's such a Keegan homer.
Yeah, right.
Well, no,
right.
It's because you know why? Most of the people that come at me with that watch one end of the court.
Yeah.
That's the offensive end.
Hey, I like Keegan Murray. I'm a fan of his. I'm not ashamed to say that. But I'm not making him out to be like God on the basketball court.
See, and so it's funny that we're talking about Keegan because the contrast between what's going on with Dylan Cardwell is the complete opposite of extreme of Keegan Murray, where you would never see a smile, you would never see frustration, you just saw the blank face, right? And the focus face. But now with Cardwell, it's these extravagant, arm flopping, getting the crowd into it. But that just might be who he really is.
Yeah, you have to be your personality. You have to be who you are.
And so it's funny to contrast the two.
Yep. It's a great point. It's just like, Bill Belichick on the sideline compared to, Sean McVay and the way he reacts on the sideline, or as compared to, Ben Johnson, who is very stoic on the sideline, doesn't express a lot of, emotion. Whereas you look at some other coaches like Dan Campbell, who's running up and down the sideline the whole game and very emotional. Everyone's different. You gotta be who you are.
And here's the other thing. Your teammates are going to help kind of mold the middle ground.
Yeah.
for you. You know, they'll let you
Yeah.
know, okay, maybe that's a little too much, or they'll say, Keegan, that's a great play. Like, you need to smile. Or Malik, how he always has this thing with the team. If you don't know by now, if somebody dunks, Malik's going to give your
Yep.
dunk a rating. And that's like a thing within the team now.
No, I
So,
always talk about broadcasters when they come up to me. I always tell them, I think I told you, be yourself. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be whomever you
Yeah.
want to be. Don't try to be Kevin Harlan because you're not going to be Kevin Harlan. Mold yourself into your own personality based on what your personality already is. Don't try to be somebody you're not because that's never going to work. You have to be yourself, and that's the way it is.
amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you told me.
916-779-0929. But secretly, I was hoping you would try to become me, but that didn't happen. So
There's only one Grant Napear. And maybe the closest thing to Grant Napear is actually Chase Napier after
Yes.
his Giants rant.
Was that
pretty
beautiful or
good.
what?
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was really, really good. Chase, my son, is working in Nashville, is the producer of the 6 p.m. news on the ABC station there, and then also has a sports show 5 nights a week for 30 minutes. And his open to his show last week was a thing of beauty. A thing of beauty.
You wouldn't recognize the voice. Like, it doesn't sound like Grant's, but the delivery, how it's hard hitting, but also the pace in which he speaks is spot on you. It's like,
Yeah, you ought to
that's
see
names.
if we can put that on the air. Like, not video, just the audio,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. I can pull that. Yeah.
Yeah, do that. That would be fun. I
Okay.
would like that.
You got it.
All right, 916-779-0929. Again, low scoring game with 9 minutes. All right, 9 minutes to go in the first half. And the Indiana Hoosiers are clinging to a 3-0 lead. Again, 9 minutes to go in the first half. Don't forget, Sean Salisbury is going to be coming your way tomorrow in the 5 o'clock hour. We've got a lot to talk about with the college football game, and the college football season will be wrapped up here in a couple of hours. We'll also get into the NBA All-Stars. I want to find out how you feel about the starters in more depth and the fact that LeBron, for the first time in 21 years, will not be a starter on the All-Star team, which he shouldn't. I mean, he shouldn't. I think they did a really good job on that. So LeBron James, who I'm sure will be on the team, I get that. All right. I don't have a problem with that. Throughout Kings history, which player do I believe was the most untouchable? That's a great question. Great question. I never really thought that they had an untouchable player in their history. But that's a really good question. Really good question. I'd have to think about that. I'm not so sure that they ever had an untouchable. I would only tell you that through the 6 years that they made their run, and I know their run was for 8 years, but legitimately it was 6 years. If you had traded Vlade Divac during that era, none of that would have happened, even though he was not the best player in Sacramento Kings history, but without him, that team would have crumbled, and it would have never obtained the things that they did. So I guess I would answer the question that way. But I don't know if they've really ever had, an untouchable player. Good question.
I think you have to have that player to have an untouchable player, and the Kings have never had that player.
That's correct. Yeah, and that's why we keep saying about this season, which is a disaster, don't ruin it now, okay? And have to depend on getting lucky in the lottery the way the Dallas Mavericks did. And when they make the announcement during the NBA lottery with the 7th pick in the NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings, and you're like, oh my God, no. Even though 7, you can get a really good player, as we have found out. But when you look at this draft, at the top of it, boy, it looks special, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. You want to be in the driver's position with this one.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Long way to go.
Well,
Long way to go.
You're also setting yourself up for another Bagley Luka situation. I mean, I guess you're like that in any draft that you're drafting
Yeah.
high, but when it's a really strong draft like this year's, you might get a really good player, but the best player might be at the 2 spot, 3 spot 5 years after.
All right. In this past draft that we had in June, when you look at the top of the draft, right off the top of your head, do you think there were any big time blunders?
So number 1 was obviously Cooper Flagg.
Yep.
2 was VJ, correct?
Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper.
BJ was third.
Third.
Correct?
I believe so. And then Knipple was up there as well.
Right.
It's hard to say that there were any blunders.
Yeah, I thought for the most part, right now the teams did a pretty nice job.
Yeah, if you had to pick out the one that might really excel out of that group and is showing that, VJ Edgecombe, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You might look back and say he's a better player than Dylan Harper just because of the situations that they're in right now. You know, Harper's settled
and that does factor into it a lot. You're right. I mean, you think about Harper and the team that he went to compared to, Edgecombe in Philly. I mean, it's a big difference. Philly's having a really good season.
They are. If I didn't say that Edgecombe is a rookie, you wouldn't notice it if you just sat down and watched him play.
Yep. So right now, with the season at the halfway point, who's your first team all rookie squad?
Cooper Flagg, BJ Edgecombe, Con Knipple, Dylan Harper, and 5 is kind of up for grabs right now, don't you think?
Yes.
It's not going to be Max. Although I think Max could get some votes. Do they do a second team for all rookie? I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be second team.
He'll be second team. It's a good question. You?
I'm going to say, right now, I don't know. I don't know if I could come up with the number 5. Indiana scored to go on top. Pending an extra point, it will be 10-0.
Mendoza took a really hard hit at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. The player may have been out of bounds. That may be coming back to about the 7-yard line. All right. Again, don't forget tomorrow's show on Salisbury. We'll talk more about this game and anything else going on in the world of sports. That's tomorrow coming up at 3 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Kings with 2 more home games this week. You got the Miami Heat. Let's hope the Miami Hurricanes aren't coming in. The Miami Heat followed by the Toronto Raptors. That's back-to-back. And then the Kings go on extended East Coast trip. So they're going to be out of town for quite a while after these next 2 home games where Sacramento has had a good homestand. They've done very well. They've only lost the 1 game last night to Portland. We'll see how they bounce back against the Heat, who are not good on the road. And then Toronto the next night is very good on the road. So those are the 2 games coming up. And then pack your bags, get your manila envelope with all the cash in there, and go out to the East Coast and see what happens.
Not a bad time to go to the East Coast. It's beautiful this time of year.
Beautiful? Yeah, beautiful if you like cold weather and snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to see something you don't see where you live.
Yeah. Very true. Very, very true. That is not a touchdown, I don't believe. Let's see what they're going to call it. It looked to me on the replay that it was out of bounds. So they did. So it is going to be still 3-0 for the Indiana Hoosiers. Hard to believe that after tonight. I guess it isn't hard to believe. I can't believe that we're still talking about the college football playoffs. Like it was never going to end, right, Rhino? Like, can't we just have the games a little bit closer in proximity, please?
Yeah. I guess Carson Beck's class schedule was just too busy. Grant.
Yes. He had final exams that they had to work around. How about that answer to that question? I haven't been to school. I haven't had class in 2 years.
2 years.
That's unbelievable. Seriously, it's unbelievable. Hey, my thanks to you on this MLK Day 2026. Look forward to being with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of the Natty. Indiana on a second and goal on top by the score of 3-0. For Rhino in Sacktown, Grant Napear, thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.